there. Gio, can you hear us?
Yes, I hear you.
There we go. Okay, that was on me. Sorry about that, Gio. How are you doing today? What do you want to talk to us about?
Well, I want to talk about near-death experience at NDE and just how that itself has become, for most religious people, even agnostic people, like the last vine, the last unknown, realm that keeps people from even considering being atheists, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say myself, I have been a born and raised Catholic. I have basically attended religion classes where taught the Bible, so many masses I could literally recite them by heart. Okay, so not like basically I was basically an atheist. So I honestly believe anyone who is an atheist has never.
Gio, I'm sorry to interrupt you. If you could just speak up just a little bit more or get a little bit closer to your microphone or your phone, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry. I'm using an earpod. Yeah. So honestly,
Gotcha.
Don't be sorry. Just help.
Yeah. We're good. Go ahead.
Yeah. Can you hear me a little better? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's much
thank
better.
you. Please go ahead.
Much better. Thanks.
So I honestly believe that no anyone who says they're an atheist, you cannot be a true atheist unless you have honestly been theist or been deeply rooted in religion to understand where you're walking away from.
I have one big question to start off with, if we can start. How are you defining atheist?
I would say there are different levels, right? They're basically called agnostic atheists, right? And I've seen something where they said there's no possibility to be a true atheist, completely 100%.
That's what I'm wondering. What is a true atheist?
Yeah,
complete disbelief in any God, or are there any afterlife or anything like that? It's something that I personally took many years to actually come to that conclusion, and the reason why is because I was forced to do this, because I myself personally had a near-death experience. Okay, I actually experienced what people would basically normally become the most incredibly religious person in the world, and I had to basically research this. I needed to find out. I mean, it was going to become the most advocate for religion or my religion, or basically become atheist. There's no way either or.
So just to summarize, so you do describe yourself as an atheist now, but you did have a near-death experience that could have made you religious, but decidedly has not made you religious. Am I picking up what you're putting down here?
Yeah. But I have to basically tell you, understand what got me there, right? Okay. I just want to know that I don't want to be able to say I'm an atheist and NDE is basically is BS, debunk. No, I want you to understand the background of who I am, where I came from, and what happened to me that made me force myself to confront this reality of what this is, or what I went through. Because what I went through, I can honestly say, and it brings me to tears sometimes, that it was the most beautiful experience I ever had. I mean, I felt a euphoria that I can't describe to this day, and I could not explain it. I mean, the best analogy I can think of is like, here's an analogy, okay? If let's say warmth, you're neither hot or cold, if you feel okay. Let's say heat is pain. Let's say colder is feeling good, right? The way I felt was that it was so cold, it burned. When I touched that light, when I touched that orb, whatever it was, I actually had to pull myself away from it. It felt so good. I'm like, yeah, unbelievable.
Well, Gio, sorry to interrupt you, because I for the show here, right? I just want to, kind of keep things moving. But I think what it sounds like is that you had a really, personal experience, and I think you're right. I think this is sort of a sort of last frontier for a lot of Christians, because we do know a lot more about science. We know more about the world today than we have at any other point in history, right? And so the more that we understand the world, the more we're able to describe it using naturalist terms and understanding these sort of natural processes. And if we we don't completely understand near-death experiences, but we certainly know more now than we have before, right? But there's still a lot of people that hold on to these experiences. I mean, they even made that movie, right? Like Heaven is for Real, right? And there's other ones that are like it, where people talk about these experiences and why they are used as the basis for people's religious beliefs. Sometimes it's not even just Christianity. Sometimes it's some other spiritual ideas, but you get the point, because they are so subjective and they are so personal and they are so, people who really have them do speak to this conviction. So obviously this was an experience that had some conviction for you. But I guess at this point, I'm curious to know, you obviously had this conviction, but you don't anymore. So what's the reason for that?
Well, the reason for this was me trying to search to find truth, trying to understand what I experienced, because this was so compelling, so real. I mean, it basically, again, just talking about it brings me to tears, So I'm trying not to talk about it because I don't want to start crying. But anyway,
sure.
I try to think about it anymore, because it basically, it's a very emotional thing that I went through, and it's so real that anyway. So what, and then I'll explain to you why I become an atheist, because through my research, I have found things online and actually researched more. It's available. I was available on YouTube, actually. A lot of my atheist journey is credited for some people like Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's a very intelligent man. He speaks things very well. And what I think he says, is very compelling, right? So one of the things he mentioned, I'll say, was in a video where he said, hey, people could say that, hey, they had the near-death experiences, that they floated in the room, and okay, they saw these things. They see up top of up there what's going on. Below, they see their body. I'm like, hey, how about we do this? We take a number and put it on their chest, and let's say, hey, what number were we showing while you were out? Okay, tell us what that number was. I mean, he makes a valid point, right? Have there ever been anything like that? Well, there actually was something like that. It's called, it's called the Aware Project, Aware Study, head by someone named Sam Parnia. If you Google it, search it, you'll see it. And actually, what's strange is that's very small number of hits. I think honestly, that even YouTube has probably even lowered the algorithm to not find.
I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna be honest with you. Well, I think we're getting a little off track here, and we're getting towards the tail end of the show, and I want to try to get at least one more caller in. So I do want to try to put a bow on this call if we can. So I appreciate you sharing your experience with us, and obviously this is a very intense, sort of personal, meaningful experience for you. And I'm really glad that you decided to show truth as priority in this, right? Because there's a lot of people that take these experiences and say, well, I can rest on my God belief now, right? Because I had this and that was enough for me. But it sounds like it wasn't the only thing for you. It sounds like you had to do a little bit more work in order to figure out what was going on. So kudos to you for doing that. Was there anything else you wanted to say before we wrap things up? Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah. So basically, Aware Study, people should look into that. And the second thing is called GLOC, which is basically from Air Force pilots that have experienced the exact same thing as people in near-death experiences, the whole tunnel vision and everything. I mean, they mistakenly even, again, they stumbled upon discovery and nobody's talking about it. Okay. So I just want people to understand, Google GLOC and Aware Study. It will basically change your life in actually seeing what that near-death experience is, just nothing more. And I'll use the term, it's the last dream before you die. It's basically a spike in brain activity, and the study basically has debunked people floating in the air. So just saying, people should look into that. Aware
Thanks,
Study
Gio.
at GLOC, G-LLC. Yeah.
Thanks,
Cool.
Joe. We appreciate it. You have a great rest of your Sunday. And thanks for calling in about this. Really,
I'll check that out too.
yeah. Normally when people say, "Hey, Google this," at the end of the show, it's usually something I'm not. Usually something I'm at odds with. This isn't something I'm at odds with,
Yeah, it's something
right?
I'm definitely gonna check out.
Yeah, it sounds like it's more up my alley, but not to be biased, I haven't actually seen this thing. Maybe it's bunk. I don't know. I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt here because it seems to have called it